Well, I've been riding around in a circle for about an hour, and here's the result. I don't know how many spiders there are, because they kind of go back. I don't know, I think it's probably not many at all here. Let's see. 3 of them were one hits, single hits. These 2 are not. Hit here. So, obviously I changed this around a little bit here. I opened this up and I gave this sort of edge here in the hopes that they wouldn't climb up. And I think it helps a little bit, but let's go back here and see what, if anything, transpired back here. Just one piece of string back here. So I think maybe if this is going to work at all, that the railroad is going too fast. So I may think about trying to time it a little bit, possibly with some redstone timers, although I've never done such a thing, so I'll probably research it a little bit. I know that just idling here at the zombie spawner is certainly the best way to get the XP, but I wanted to try to get something where I could get both of them going, so let's see. So I was idling for a while, and I came back to the computer and I had died. And I'm not sure how. Not sure how these guys got out. So I'm gonna investigate here. But there's definitely an infestation here. These guys are 2-hit kills, so... Yeah! Oh. You can hear him in the background. Get out of my library! I was standing here in the library. Guess all my stuff or actually I didn't have anything on me because I thought I put stuff away. Two hits. Are they coming from the spider end of things? Ah! They are. They're coming from... How did... Oh, did I leave that down? Trying to time it a little bit. Yeah, I left the step engaged. But how did they get over there? Do they climb ladders? Is that possible? The lunatics have taken over the asylum. Ah. Oh. They must have gone up the ladder. Oh, I see. I think they're up at the halfway mark up there. Well, let's shut this off. And let's take a look, shall we? Oh, interesting. I get credit for that fall death there. Over here. This is like a real zombie infestation. Well, clearly that did not go as planned. Now where'd this guy come from? Oh, I left the thing open again. The security protocols in this place are really lax. Alright. So they must have gone up the ladder. I didn't know they could do that. Enough of them got up here to kill me. Take all my stuff. If I had stuff on me, I don't even remember. Okay, well, important safety tip. Don't forget to retract your steps. But wait, how did they... This one was... I don't understand. This one was engaged. Oh, the water brought them here, of course. The water brought them here. But then the ladder took them up. Okay. I think I understand now. Doesn't mean I'm not going to make a stupid mistake again. But I think I understand this one. Well, there's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is we are back in the foggy, skied, muddy terrain world of Redstone. But I'll try to spare us the worst of that. The good news is, I think with this solution, it will be very adjustable going forward, so I can really fine-tune it. But basically, I wanted to find a way to have the minecart wait in a certain area for as much time as I wanted before automatically continuing on and repeating the cycle. That way I can idle closer to the spawner, to either spawner, for as long as I want, and step away from the computer and go AFK. So here in the prototype planes, here's that that sort of punch card gadget. Remember this one over here that does the music? Well, this one is just a single one, and I made it the full extent of 12 blocks, but it doesn't have to be that long. But basically there's a couple components here One is the punch card doodad. Two is the engine, and it's one of those two-stroke engines that power the punch card. Next is something we'll look at here called an RS Nor Latch, which sends a signal to this here, which starts the engine. Next, there is, I guess, finally, there's just the attachment of a power rail, which you can't see over on that side there, and a detector rail. That's all. Okay, see ya. No. And, you know, conceptually, I thought, okay, this must work, and it's all just kind of thrown together because it's just wherever I laid it down. So there's nothing at all optimized about any of this, the placement, but appears to work. Let me show it working first. It doesn't make it all the way around, but that's okay. But basically, you'll be cruising around in the little doodad here, and it hits this detector rail, which actually turns off this. I'll show that in just a second here. All right. So now a clock starts. This clock here is ticking away, marking time. I actually timed this out. The way it's set right now, it's about 43 seconds. But as I said, I think I can actually make that even longer if I really wanted to. But see, I'm just sitting here for 43 seconds. And you can see that the yellow block right there is the solid block that transmit the signal. So watch what happens when the yellow block gets right here to the crosshair, or just above the crosshair. Launches the minecart, and then stops. All of this to do that. and then it repeats. All right, so let's see. Okay, so just to recap the punch card thingy, although I did go over this in this, whatever this is, punch card, player pianos and punch card, I think was the name of the episode. But basically, there's 4 pistons, and they just push these blocks around and around in a circle. And so the corner ones fire first, and then the other corner, caddy corner ones fire second. That's all that needs to happen there. And then because Redstone will not transmit through glass or through a transparent block, which, you know, I was going to try this out with stairs too to see if it works, because I understand stairs are a transparent block when it comes to Redstone, but I haven't tried that. But anyway, this torch is always on. This is feeding through here, but it's not active because there's no solid block. Oh, I guess that's what happens when you hit it with your efficiency 2 shovel. It just breaks the glass instantly. Okay, I meant to do kind of like that, but when you do it with efficient, okay. So nothing gets transmitted until this yellow block works its way all the way around. Great. So the next part is this little 2-stroke engine thingy here, and this is sort of the on-off switch. When this is activated, this moves forward, and the same thing, power gets transmitted from these repeaters into this block, and then it activates the punch card. It also activates this piston right here. Well, I should put the shovel away. It activates this piston here, which moves the block forward, and you see there's 2 torches underneath. Again, I go over this more in the punch card thing, but basically the only thing I want to point out here is that I think this part can also be used, make it adjustable. But I have these extended fully. Let me shorten them all the way, and let's see how quickly. I haven't tried this yet. It should work though. But those are just kind of to slow down the signal. Let's see if this works. Get over there. Okay. Yeah, see how much faster it goes now. Okay, so that's part of the speed adjustment is the duration of these repeaters right here. And let's see, there was one part where, let's see, I needed this block to get out of the way, and oh, I know why. Okay, all right. So before I fiddle around with that, though, let me change this back. But I presume you could just have more repeaters here and extend that even further so that it goes that much slower. But anyway, the one half of the signal is fed to one pair of pistons here, and then the other half is fed to the other pair. So that's how that goes round and round. So one of the things I needed to do is that I needed this block to get out of the way and not just sit here, because that kind of messed up the circuitry a little bit on this other piece. So I actually added a repeater here to slow it down. Slow down the turn off signal, if you will, so that that could move out of the way by one. But this part here, basically these two blocks and the little ring around it is called an Nor Latch, and let me just show you what that looks like. And I've seen these in a number of videos, especially in Ethos, and there's a number of different ways to make these, and they're all in the wiki, and they all do essentially the same thing. They do exactly the same thing. Okay, so you see, this is actually it. This is the whole thing right here. It's just this little loop, and you notice that one half of the signal is on and the other one is off. So you can tap into this and send it somewhere. Like, for example, right at this moment, this side right here is powering this rail right there. It's sending power to that rail. That's how I launched the thing. Okay, so in order to throw on the brakes, I need to turn the power off on this, and so I'm just going to put a button on here. Right, let's see, which one? This one. No, this one already has power. This one. There we go. So now, this one here that was connected to the power rail is now off. So here's the thing about an Nor Latch. RS stands for reset set, and Nor is a kind of a logic gate, and it has to do with the input of two values, and it's neither this one nor that one. And then there's a what's called a truth table that you can see on Wikipedia that says that if the signal is in this configuration, the result will be this other configuration. There's a whole bunch of these logic units that allow you to do that. Be right back when the sun's up. Now I won't even attempt to explain these logic units beyond how they seem to fit into the project that I'm working on, because I barely understand it, and there are people that explain it way better than I do. But it is good to know. I didn't know what RS stood for. I guess I could have guessed, but I finally did look it up. And I did want to mention that because it helps you think about what this circuit does. It's set and reset. And so what's notable about it is that this button that I pressed in order to activate this, it doesn't matter how often I press it, it doesn't change anything. And that's what's good about this little circuit, is that it remembers, it holds this setting for as long as you want. Actually, for as long as you don't trigger this side here. And so one way to do that is, let's make another button, is give it a signal over on this side. Here, just to show you that you can put the signal wherever you want. Let's see, this should work. Okay, so see how this switched right here? But now when I press this button, nothing changes. It's just, it remembers this setting right here. Okay, so this is on, and nothing changes until you change this. Okay, so that's what an Nor Latch does. So what's going on here is, again, picture it this way. This is, imagine that the power rail is connected to this, and it's off, so the minecart just sits there. And meanwhile, this, here, let's do it backwards here. Hold on. Okay, this is where the power rail is, let's say, and it launches, and the minecart is running. Runs, runs, runs. It goes over here, it goes over here. It runs over the detector rail. You've seen these before. This is a detector rail. It's got a switch on it. And whenever you press the switch, it's just the same as pressing the button. So it runs over the switch, and oh, sorry, this one. It runs over the switch, and it presses this button, and that turns off the power rail. So now it becomes a brake. At the same time, this thing taps into the punch card device, and now it starts running. Okay, so that's what's happening. Is basically this is the punch card machine is running, and when the solid block comes through, that's the same as flipping the switch that changes it to a different state. Right? Oh, right. It makes sense. The good thing is that really all you have to keep in mind is that you're going to use this to your advantage. You got one button here, and then I'm just changing the position of the buttons. Basically, one button here changes the state of this, the other button changes the state of this, and nothing happens to alter that. That's basically what it is. So, all right, so just to look at it again, it's set to the slower speed now. Run over the switch, starts running. This becomes a brake. I'll skip ahead a little here. All right, and then the block comes into place, turns off the machine, sends the card on its way. Yeah, so I'm going to have to build all this. I think I'm just going to build it underneath. I'll probably clear out a big room. You know, there's nothing optimized at all about this arrangement, as you can tell. And so that is going to be fun to set up as we go. I'm not going to do it on camera, I don't think, because I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, and this will be a lot of trial and error, and I'll just get frustrated. You know, there's something really aggravating about this project. And it's not this, it's not the redstone, it's the spiders. The spiders are bugging me because they're really annoying to deal with. So I need to take a deep breath and not get irritated by the spiders. And I think this will work, and I think it'll be kind of cool. It also helps to not be overrun by zombies. By the way, when I died with the zombie apocalypse there, I did have things on me. I had detector rails, and I had power rails, and I had some stuff. Anyway, nothing overly tragic, but I did have stuff. So, you know, before I leave the plains here, though, let's see. I've been meaning to try this out. In the Cane Quake episode, one of the problems was the loss of sugarcane down in the gaps down below, and I think it was tied directly to the fact that the button was pressed for one full second, more or less. So when you did this, that stayed on for a full second. I mean, that was part of the problem. And there's a thing that I've seen used here and there, but I've never had occasion to use it. And I'm not going to rebuild the timing on the Cane Quake room. But one way to solve this problem is to create a pulse limiter. Something that's called a pulse limiter. Okay, so that's the output right there. See, it stays on for a full second. But if you break this signal very quickly, it gets one tiny little pulse to here, and then you have to have a way of cutting it off. And the way to cut it off would be to trigger the piston as well. So now when you press this button, okay, the button is still in for a second. all this stuff here is still on for a second, but this gets cut off like almost immediately, right? Because this breaks the signal here. And so if you look at this little box of redstone right here, watch what happens. See how it just blinks? So now when you do something like this, see how that piston goes really quickly? So that's one thing that you know, I'll probably end up using this for other things somewhere along the way, because and I've seen videos where people use these pulse emitters to create all kinds of exotic patterns in this that help with things like piston elevators and just really amazing stuff that's yeah, that makes my head hurt just thinking about it. But it makes sense. So if you ever need just a short pulse like that, this is one configuration that does it. There are other ones. There's an even smaller one that has just like a repeater in the middle, I think. Here, let me see. I probably won't remember how to do this. Okay, here it is. This is what it is. Alley-oop. And thanks to Mr. Evan CSS, quick search on YouTube brought up a video where he builds this very contraption here. This is set to 3, so that means you have to hit it twice. So it's like this, and you go 1, 2. So now that's 3 ticks. And now when you press this button, it does that. This is a lot smaller than that other one, so this one's pretty cool. So I'll probably use this if I have a reason to do it. So, all right, time to do lots of building. Well, while working on the engine for the timer, got one working over there. I started working on the second one over at this end, and this engine here just refused to work properly. It just stops for no good reason. I tried making a couple more, and this one here works. Last night before I went to bed, this one was working, but now it doesn't. It just goes a few times and then it just stops. And I thought I had it figured out that there was something weird about where the there might be a part of the circuit that's like in a different part of the map. What I did was I moved this over like this. All right, and then I put this block here, and then it starts. And it works. Let me put it back where it was. Okay, it's back where it was, and we start it up. Nothing. This is really frustrating. I'm trying to look for patterns on why this might be happening or not happening. Maybe the fact that, let's see. Looks like there's a second. I did some Googling, and I guess there's this sort of quasi-engaged block or something like that. Basically, I can update this by putting a block here, and there's no reason for that to happen. Same thing happens if I do it on the side. So I guess this is something that is a phenomenon that's used also to make something called a bud switch. And I don't know what bud stands for. Buddy? No, it's some acronym or something. And I haven't really looked into it because I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But what I don't understand is if there's going to be a bug, why isn't it consistent? If this thing is completely isolated, all right, so here the mechanism is just floating in the air, only the blocks. Oh, actually we can get rid of this, right? Yeah, only the blocks needed to operate it. Okay, and then we do the same thing but move it over again. No, you know what? No, I'm not going to move it over. I thought at one point, I thought maybe it was the geography. I thought maybe it was like between chunks or something, and that there was enough of a delay to cause a problem. But anyway, the point is it's not consistent, and for a Redstone novice like myself, this is really I don't know, it bothers me. It's just like, come on. It's bad enough that I have trouble keeping track of what I'm doing when things work, but you know, when they start behaving in unpredictable ways, I just don't get it. Now this one is kind of floating. Let's see if I fill in this floor, if it will work. Alright, so if one of these adjacent blocks is messing something up, here's its chance to fail. So that's really annoying. It's really annoying. Alright, so I'm going to move this into whatever mystical, magical position makes it work. If I can't get it to work appropriately, maybe I'll make like a 4-piston one in the hopes that somehow or other it overcomes whatever kind of glitch. But anyway, just wanted to show the weirdness, and if you know what's going on and if you can predict how it works, let me know, I guess, because I sure wouldn't mind knowing, but better still, I just wish it behaved consistently. Okay, back to work. Well, there's good news and there's bad news. Mostly, though, bad news. In the end, I don't think this is going to be working as I intended. Ominous thunderstorms have begun. But the good news is that I got it working kind of the way that I wanted it to. It's just not giving me the results that I wanted. I've been running this now. I've been idling in this contraption for over 2 hours, about 2.5 hours, and it is spawning spiders. It is spawning zombies. I have not gotten out of the cart yet, so I'm about to do that right now just to see. Let's take a look now. I know that just by looking at the entity thing, that is just not anywhere near what I got just by sitting there. It looks like there's, you know, I think the highest number I saw over in this area was like 25. Let's go down here and take a look and see. Yeah, it's what, there's 6 zombies in here. Let me just smash them. This is actually working better in a sense. There are more spiders here than there were before, so that's good. They're still not taking the amount of damage that I want them to take. They kind of get backed up. Actually, let's go look at this side over here. See how far back they go. Not too much farther. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think... let me close this. It really, if the sole purpose is to get the XP, then just sitting near the top and then having, you know, I had hundreds in here, is going to be much more effective. But at least the concept I kind of got working. Let's see. Notice I don't have anything on me. I don't have anything on me anymore in case I got killed again with another zombie apocalypse. Yeah, so, you know, whatever there were here, 7, 8 spiders. Far too much work to smack them around. So, yeah, I think I'm going to just sort of idle at the zombie spawner, idle at the spider spawner, and just sort of leave it at that. Oh, but, yeah, because it you know, it's still a good way to get XP. But, let me go into this room here. So this is ultimately what I ended up with, and it is just a reproduction of the one that I already showed. It's really confusing sometimes trying to connect the dots, especially as you're sort of carving the cave in which you're doing all of it, but ultimately it all was pretty much executed the way it was intended. Trying to understand and get the switches working here, you know, took a little bit of trial and error. Not because it's anything fancy, but because it can be confusing. So that's why I have a sign that just sort of gives me cues. You know, when the light is on, the rail is powered. When this light is off, the switch is off. So I'd go up there and I'd put the minecart on and I'd make sure that this signal is coming over here and doing what I need it to do. I have a test switch here so that I can trigger it and see this thing in action. As you can see, the stairs do work as transparent blocks, so that's good to know because cobble stairs are pretty cheap. I have way more cobble than glass. I mean, ultimately, I think so. That's good to know. By the way, the timing, you saw that it was going very quickly. I did try all the different delays for these repeaters. At the longest position, at 4 clicks, with everything here on 4 clicks, so I guess it's a total of 8 really, plus the 12, the length of 12, actually 24 steps in the chain here. I would be sitting at the powered rail for about 42 to 43 seconds, and then every click down from that was roughly about 10 seconds less. So in the end, at its fastest, it ended up being about, I think it was like 13 seconds or something like that. Because what I noticed in the long delay one is that I think there were even fewer mobs that were staying alive. I think they were despawning. I was just away from it for too long. So it's adjustable. Should that be useful for something in the future? And that's kind of what these do, and that's what the length of this does as well. But, you know, getting the redstone to where it needs to be so that it doesn't interfere with other stuff, you know, it's all the same sort of challenge to get it all situated appropriately. So the second one was easier to build than the first one, just because, well, because I had the first one to look at, and it's just right over here. And I don't know, just learned lessons from doing it the first time. But also the placement, you know, this started to run into where the spider channel is. And so, I mean, I suppose I could have... See, if I'd known more about how this really is executed, I probably could have drawn it out or something, but, you know, on graph paper, but I'm just not sophisticated enough to do that, really. at this point. So so that's why it looks pretty chaotic for the most part. One thing I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to just abandon the idea of combining spiders and zombies. You know, it just doesn't yield the results, and so consequently I probably will revisit this drop so that I can just make a more reliable damage system for the spiders, and try to learn a little bit more about how to do that. One thing I thought about doing was I thought possibly that carving out, I thought maybe the spiders were brushing up against the walls and slowing themselves down. I don't know if that's true or not, but I thought about carving this out one more level larger, one more row larger in all directions, except for the very top, so that when they fall off the edge, they truly are flying through the air. And I wondered if that would be, if that would help prevent some of the safety that they would land in, some of the relative safety. So I don't know if that's true or not. I have no idea. I'm trying to think also. Today 1.1 came out. I'm still not in 1.1. I wanted to finish this up, but you know, I don't know if there's any effects or any changes to anything as a result of the update. Probably not. Not for this particular exercise. So yeah, that's kind of where this stands. And actually where it's going to, I believe, end. So I will probably tidy this up a little bit, and it'll be a monument to this strange and bizarre and ultimately not so useful project. I tidied up this room a little bit. I don't know if this is the final form, but kind of closed some of the gaps here and there. And well, I figure, you know, if we're going to ride the XPress, the ironically named XPress, we may as well have a little enjoyment. So I made this little desert house for the snow golem couple here. They're very excited. They haven't stopped jumping around. Got a little cactus there, a little furnace. Put a couple torches in there because, well, they just keep making a mess on the floor. I don't know. It's kind of a, you know, slippery hazard, but yeah, I think that I think they're going to be happy here, and I'll have to visit them from time to time. But for right now, as always, thanks for watching.